The next point's about Riverdale. If season 6 has not finished, so we don't know what is going to be in our future for season 7. If we have 22 episodes and we don't conclude our Percival and supernatural power arc, like how would you feel about that? Do you need that to like finish in season 6, or do you or and have a new story?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. If I see Percival in season 7, I'm gonna be furious. Absolutely not. I can't deal with it. No. 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 Don't even put that in the universe.
Okay, I take it back. I take it back. I take it back.
I know a
They've
lot
had a
of
really bad habit of doing that lately. Of like the videotapes wasn't resolved till like halfway through season 5. I'm probably being dramatic about that, but like a lot of stuff is carried over into additional seasons, and I'm like, can we like put a bow at the end of a season? And I fear now that that's what's going to happen. Is like this guy's going to show up in season 7, and I think 22 episodes. I'm just going to go on record. I'm sorry, this is my opinion. 22 episodes is a mistake.
Yeah, no, all of the above. I was just going to say the exact same thing. I know one of the previous seasons, because of the pandemic, obviously some of the stories had to be carried over. Totally understandable. But I feel like while the other shows then wrapped up all of the stories in the current seasons, Riverdale have now allowed those stories now to spill over into the next season, which is why we're still talking about Archie saving the town, which is why there's, even though Hiram's gone, we now have the superpowers carried over from the previous season. It just felt like nothing was wrapped
And
up
the
at the end.
trash bag killer, he's still
Exactly, that's the big one.
doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's had 2 weeks off, but he's still in play.
Yeah, really forgot he existed, and now here we are expecting him to come back again. And Betty's just like, oh yeah, him. And then I'm like, I thought you were tracking him. I don't want him to be carried over into the final season because they've just killed all the momentum, and like none of the stories are really carrying that. I hope they wrap it up completely and then come up with one kind of like contained story for the final season that could have been told in 13 episodes.
I feel exactly the same. I think that there are certain storylines that we keep circling back to every time it seems like they're done, right? So with Jughead, we were done with Betty. We seem to be back to Betty. With Veronica, we were done with Archie. We seem to be back to Archie. With Betty, we weren't finished with the TBK storyline, but it had kind of faded enough that I'd forgotten about it. And so now that we circled back to it, and she's like, "Yeah, you made me, dismember somebody." And I was like, "Oh, girl, we need to go back to therapy instead of hanging out in Archie's house. Like, you need trauma therapy so bad." And I'm sure as we move further into season 6, that's going to get pushed to the wayside for the big battle that will potentially have a part 2 that will be in the 22 episodes or possible 22 episodes of season 7. Natalie, that is why we also agree we cannot imagine a 22 episode season because they have a lot of material, but just because you have a lot of material doesn't mean you have enough story to tell it in. And I want us to start like tying these bows, like ending these stories, like get us to an end game that works for Riverdale. At this point, I'm even like, get us to an end game that works for Riverdale, even if it's regardless of ships. I don't even care if we're in limbo with some other ships. Just please finish the story.
If I'm being honest, to hear all of these talks of like financial things happening behind the scenes, I'm like, I can't believe they're allotting the budget for 22 episodes. Is that shady?
It's but shade can also be true and factual, and it just seems like I'm sorry when it said that they got 186,000 views on one Sunday night. I was like, I understand getting renewed for season 7 because of it's Riverdale, but to get a 22 episode count potentially on top of that after getting that viewage, for what reason? For what reason?
Maybe it's just like, yeah, it's going to be 22 episodes, wink, wink. And then they're going to be like, JK, we thought about it some more. And they're going to tell Roberto, like, it's 13, guy. It's 13.
We can do it.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in that. Why was this show cancelled when that show went on? So I'm not going down that route. But I can see statistically that it didn't make an awful lot of sense to renew a show that was getting 100 and something thousand viewers and cancel a show that was getting 600 and something thousand viewers. That to me doesn't make sense. The show does need to ride off into the sunset, absolutely. I feel like there were other ways around this, and if they're going to, I can't say that they shouldn't have renewed Legends of Tomorrow, and that they shouldn't renew Riverdale. It deserves the same respect, and that it's been on for that long, so it deserves its own conclusion. But do we need a 22 episode right off into the sunset?
No.
No.
So,
Exactly.
like, maybe we should, like, fingers crossed for, like, a smooth 17, 18, like, just to shave off some of the episodes.
That's still too
Um,
much.
it
15
is.
max.
Oh, wait, what if they gave him a 22 episode because 'cause we're doing another, big event?
Ugh, I don't think we need it.
The groan.
It's a realistic possibility, but we don't need it. We don't want it.
Why would they
We
do
don't
that?
want it. But
It could be to
I
do with
don't
the Netflix deal because wasn't it this season for some reason Dynasty and Riverdale both were the ones with the longest episode counts, even though they were some of the lower performers. So maybe it's to do with
Mhm.
that international deal. I don't know. But like a bumper season of Riverdale, the ride off into the sunset, isn't that special when it's practically been doing bumper length seasons already, and it isn't working. To use a recent example, Supergirl wrapped up with 20 episodes in season 6, and that it kind of felt rushed because they combined their stories for season 6 and season 7 all together because they were supposed to do a seventh season and decided not to. It just didn't work because they were trying to do too much. Parts of it were great, and that's my fear of Riverdale. I feel like the show is consistently and continually and right now doing too much. Why do we need it to do too much in a final season? Just strip it back and condense it for 10 little episodes.
I was just thinking, this season's already held for 2023. If they do 22 episodes starting in maybe not even January, the show will be on until at least next summer.
mm.
That's a long time.